Hello, my name is Olivia Hall, and today I will be discussing standardized testing. Did you know that approximately 112 students will take a standardized test in their K-12 education career? The majority of people are affected negatively and positively by standardized testing. Older individuals are also affected by standardized testing through their children. I feel that I have conducted a good amount of research on the subject, which has made me more informed. I have also had personal experience with standardized testing, which also makes me more informed. Although in some circumstances, standardized testing can be an accurate reflection of an individual's knowledge on a subject, standardized testing has been shown to cause a disconnect between teachers and their jobs and also lowered self-esteem in students. Based on studies, it has been shown that teachers can be negatively affected by the implementation of standardized tests. Having standardized tests can cause teachers to be less inclined to take their job seriously. Teachers are less likely to teach their class seriously when their only major reflection is the end of a year standardized test. Having standardized tests also takes away from the freedom of their education career, which would normally come with a job. Approximately 54% of parents are against Common Core curriculum that has been put into place in most American schools. The Common Core curriculum is a standardized curriculum that regulates lesson plans for teachers. It has been shown that power over their students' curriculum makes teachers feel more empowered in their work and also more inclined to take their work seriously. Having standardized testing makes teachers focus less on the goal of educating their students and more on the goal of passing an exam. In many cases, this causes students to leave with less knowledge than they would have originally. While standardized testing has many negative effects on teachers, there are also negative effects on students. Students that are regularized by standardized exams have been proven to have a lessened sense of self-worth. Students who are not successful at exams feel as if they are failures completely. Students who regularly perform well in their class that then fail or perform poorly on their exams tend to think less of themselves or that they are a failure. Students that come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds and are also included in racial minority groups are also more likely to be targeted and fail at standardized exams. Many students feel that they are doing well in school even though they do not perform well on their exams. Students will do good all year and receive good scores in their class. However, many do not succeed on their final exams. Standardized exams also put a large amount of stress on students. Many students are required to pass an exam to graduate, having extreme stress and importance put on this exam. An example of this can be seen by the Canadian Literacy Exam, known as the OSSLT. It's a determining factor in whether or not a student can graduate. This exam causes extreme stress for the students because it can prevent them from graduating and receiving their diploma. Although there are many negative factors for standardized testing, there are some positive. While I believe the negatives of standardized testing outweigh the positives, there are some arguments that standardized testing is positive. It can in some ways increase student self-esteem, while performing poorly on the exam can take away from the student's self-esteem Performing highly on the exam, or better than the student suspected they would perform, can in some ways increase a student's self-esteem. Standardized tests help regulate the curriculum across the country. By having standardized testing, it regulates learning objectives, which can help create a more equal education for all students. It also allows for teachers to have another level of evaluation. Although they can in some ways be inaccurate, standardized testing allows teachers to have another form of evaluation by their state. These allow for the state to judge the success they have in their academic arena by judging their students' exam scores. Approximately 64% of the public believes that education system puts too much emphasis on standardized exams. There are many factors that cause standardized testing to be negative for students and teachers. While I believe the negatives outweigh the positives, there are also some positives for standardized testing. In this speech, I reviewed the following subjects. Standardized testing negatively affects teachers and their careers. Standardized testing negatively affects students and their education. Standardized testing also has positives that make it a good thing for education. I believe the solution for this problem would be to get rid of standardized testing completely. By doing this, there would need to be a revamp of the education system surrounding final exams. This speech was an attempt to persuade the audience on why standardized testing is bad for both students and teachers, and should overall come to an end. Thank you for being attentive during my speech. Hopefully, I was able to convince you that standardized testing is a negative event and causes distress in both teachers and students.